Welcome everyone. Let's start in a seated position. So we're going to include some shoulders today, lots of hips, core work, remembering that core and lower back is completely connected. So the more we can strengthen the core, it'll help with that lower back alignment. So let's start with that great alignment in our spine in a comfortable seated position. So whatever that means for you, sitting on your mat or a block or blanket, Indian style, half lotus. Just take a second, hands resting on the knees, palms up or down, or bring them to the center stacked over each other. Take a moment, lift through the crown of your head, let those shoulders hang down nice and low, and remember the goal is to stack the body. So starting with that great alignment as we lift through the crown of the head, it's stacked over the heart and then over the hips. So we do have to engage the core slightly so that we can get that alignment, and then just gently rest the eyes. Bring that focus into your breath. Remember, the breath is so important to our practice and our daily life. We want to try to extend it and make it smooth, even, and continuous. So we inhale through the nose and we fill the upper lungs, the lower lungs, and the belly. And then we exhale through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels most comfortable. The goal here is to just fill the body with oxygen and energy. And then with each exhale, relax and release what doesn't serve us today. We're going to take a few more breaths here, enjoying the silence for a moment. Remember, with those exhales, let those shoulders hang down a little bit more. Release the space between the eyes and soften the jaw. One more nice deep breath here, taking this through our practice today. And then we'll inhale and lift the arms up. Reach through the fingers, and then exhale, just bring the palms down to the heart. Inhale, reach back up. Find a nice big stretch through the body here, and then relax down. Taking a moment for the neck, we're going to drop the chin towards the chest, and then bring the ear to the shoulder, and then back to center and to the other side. Moving at your own pace, maybe you pause in one spot. It feels a little bit better to stretch out. But remember, your goal is to not pass 70%. We'll naturally open over time, and we're just starting to gently open through the neck and shoulders. We'll do one more round, both sides. And then end by coming to center. Drop those shoulders a little bit more, and then lift the head to neutral. Take a big inhale, reach through the fingers again, lifting up. And relax down. We're going to bring our hands to our shoulders. So we're going to lift the arms up, touching the shoulders. How high you lift them is really going to be up to you. We're going to try and squeeze and bring those elbows together, finding a nice stretch. And then we're going to try and make a circle. So lift up and then out to the side and down. So move with your own body. Relax into it. So bring them together, up and around. Try to find that motion in the shoulders. Try to find a release. Maybe you pause or you move a little bit slower. But our goal is to feel an opening through the shoulder blades, a nice rotation as we lift up. And then we'll come back and bring those elbows together as much as we can and drop the chin down for a second. Find a nice stretch and then come up. Then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to go down, out, and then up. If it's ever too much with the hands, you can actually do this with just having the arms out large. It's a little bit easier if we're standing. But a nice big circle, find a squeeze and then down. Let's do 2 more. So squeezing, opening through those shoulder blades. Take a second, bring those elbows together as much as possible, and then drop the elbows, drop the palms, lift up, lengthen through the body, and then float down. From here, we'll work on opening up the other direction. So we're going to reach those palms back. Fingertips will point behind us. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift through the heart and then drop the chin slightly if it feels good. If not, just keep the head nice and neutral and focus on pulling the shoulder blades together here. And maybe if you have that chin drop down, you tilt the ear from side to side, bring the ear towards the shoulder. But listen to your body. We'll come back to neutral by drawing the chin to the chest first and lifting up. And then release, roll those shoulders back. Lift the arms up, give yourself a nice big hug. Pull through the shoulders, reach the palms around your back as much as possible. And then open up, lift and lengthen, open that chest, and then switch the arms. So switch whichever one was on top. Open, not too far because we're going to just lift up. And then we'll drop the right arm down. Reach overhead. Nice big side body stretch here. Try to relax through the shoulder. You can look down to release the neck or turn open to the sky for more of a twist. Or just nice and neutral. Big stretch through the side here. Feel that length through the ribs as you reach through the fingers. And then we'll inhale and lift up, both arms up. Exhale, left arm drops, and then we bend into it. Now again, find that release in the ribs here. So length through the fingers, avoid that kink in the arm. 2 more breaths. And then come up. Inhale, both arms up, reach, reach, reach. And then relax down. Take a second here. Notice how the shoulders already feel different. Bring your hands back to whatever position they were in. Notice the opening that happened through the upper back. Maybe take a moment and drop the chin towards the chest, feeling that nice release. And then slowly come back up. We're going to stretch out the legs for a moment, get a nice reach. So maybe you curl those toes and point them, whatever feels good. Maybe it's just shaking them out, or maybe it's a gentle tap down and around. Just waking up that energy after sitting for a few minutes. All right. We're actually going to come onto our hands and knees in a moment. So however you want to get there, we're going to take a moment and we're going to move through our shoulders in a little bit of a different way. So maybe you want to take a blanket and bring it underneath your knees for a little bit of extra padding. The goal should really be to press out of the shoulders. So I want you to spread your palms nice and wide so that every inch is touching the mat. The wrists should be stacked under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Remember to unlock the elbows. And now push out of the shoulders, so round the upper back and shift from side to side. So shifting the weight over the palms. Left and right finding a stretch through the shoulder blades and the ribs. And then come back to center and release. So we're still pushing out of the shoulders, but this time we want to drop the belly and lift the hips and lift the heart. The head's going to be nice and neutral. And now we're going to tilt our hips from side to side. So we're going to wag our tail while we're in this position. And we're just finding a great stretch through the side body here. And then we'll come back to center and we're going to do a big circle. So we're going to circle those hips around with a nice neutral spine, bringing the heels to the hips. We'll do 2 circles this way, big giant stretch through the whole spine. And then we'll go the other way. So reaching out, feel that weight shift on your knees and come around. Pressing out of those palms still. 1 more big circle. And then back to center. Starting with a little bit of opening through the legs, we're going to pick up that right leg and reach it back. Touch with the toes and then push into the heels. So push out of those palms again. Feel strong through the shoulders and find a nice stretch through the calf here. You might feel it through the hamstring as well. But our focus is to have that space. So if you look back, you should still have hips distance between your legs. So we have that great alignment. And play around with the weight on the ball of your foot. It should feel even from side to side. So not too heavy on the big toe or little toe side. A nice opening up of the toes and a big push. And then release. We're going to come back to center. And then we're going to stretch out the left leg. So reach it back, touch with the toes, and then spread them out wide so that you can push that heel down towards the earth. Again, think about focusing on pushing out of the palms, feeling nice and strong. The core is engaged here. And we're just taking a few breaths. Where do you feel that weight in the ball of your foot? Is it even from side to side? And then we'll release. Come back to center. And we're going to shift the hips back for child's pose. So we're just going to relax the body for a few breaths. Let those hips go towards your heels and then relax the head down. Now, if the head's not coming towards the mat, you can make 2 fists and stack them. You could use a block or a blanket. You could just take your palms and put them one on top of each other. And you have 2 options with the arms. You can keep them out long and relaxed, or you can bring them around the sides of your legs so the palms face the sky by your feet. But the goal here is to allow your body to relax for a few breaths. Give your shoulders that moment to rest. Feel your lower back fall closer towards your heels. It's opening up, lengthening. We feel the ribs expand into the thighs with each breath. So nice big breath. The belly and ribs press outward. And then the navel draws towards the spine with the exhale. And then we'll bring those arms around front, or we'll pull the palms towards our head and we'll slowly push up. We'll come back to that tabletop position and we're going to visit a pigeon pose. So palms reach out first. We're going to take a moment, giving ourselves nice alignment, right knee towards right wrist. Then take those left toes, curl them so you can push that heel and foot back a little bit more, then relax the foot down. Now from here you have a couple of options. You can shake or rock from side to side, feeling a nice opening through the hips here, and just keep that ankle underneath the hip. If you have the flexibility, you can shimmy your right foot to the center and then kind of relax down a little bit more. And then you can stay here, or you could come down onto the forearms, or you can go all the way down, resting the torso on the thigh, and then the head comes down to the mat. Remember, wherever you are, the goal is to feel comfortable. So we're not pressing ourselves into something that hurts. We're relaxing. We're taking that moment to allow our hips to open. And we're going to take 2 more breaths. You might feel a gentle tingling sensation, but we don't want anything to ever hurt. We want it to feel natural. So if we're laying down, we're going to draw those palms back to our shoulders. If we're on our forearms, we'll just come to our palms. Everyone's going to lift up, and then we're going to let that weight fall to the right side, and we're going to swing that left leg around. Today, we're going to straighten that left leg out, keeping that right foot gently pressed into the side. Lift and lengthen here. Curl back those left toes. Give yourself a solid base to lift out of, and then we're going to inhale and lift those arms up. Exhale and gently fold forward. So remember, the goal is not about how far you can reach, rounding through that back. We want to have a nice flat back. Focus on that length through the leg and folding from our hips. Since this is our first forward fold, we might not be folding very far. But we just want to relax into it, find length through our spine with that proper alignment, so we're turning towards that left leg. And then we'll release. Inhale up, roll those shoulders back, and then we're going to move into the other side. So we have a couple of ways we can do this. I'm going to show the more advanced way quickly, and then we'll do the tabletop variation, so onto the hands and knees. If you want to, you take that left leg nice and bent, and then you swing the right leg around this time, and then adjust accordingly. Or join me in that tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Then we reach the palms out a little bit. Left knee to left wrist. Curl back the right toes so that you can reach that foot a little bit more, and then relax it down. And then again, tilting from side to side. Getting a nice stretch here. And then centered or keep going. That option is there to take that left foot and shimmy it towards the center. You can stay here. You could go to the forearms or all the way down, reaching out, resting the head on the mat or your palms, whatever feels most comfortable. The goal is to listen to your body and connect with your breath. If you're laying down, this is a great opportunity to feel that belly expand into the thigh. If you're on the forearms, make sure to press out of the shoulders. Wherever you are, relax the space between the eyes and soften through the jaw. Take a few more breaths here. And then if you're laying, we'll draw the palms back to the shoulders. If you're on the forearms, we just come up to the palms. Everyone's upright, and then we'll shift that weight to the left. Relax, and then gently swing that right leg around. Adjust so that that right leg is extended, and then that left foot is pressing into the thigh. Curl back those toes. That's what gives us a nice solid base to lift out of. So we have that great alignment. We're lifting through the crown of our head. We inhale and lift up, and then we exhale and fold. So again, avoid that rounding in the back. Sit up nice and tall and think about really folding or hinging forward from your hips. Feel both sit bones connected to the mat. Check in on that right foot. Are you still drawing those toes back towards you? And release. Inhale, come up, roll those shoulders back, and we're going to bring the feet together. So you might need to adjust a little bit. Bring the feet together in a nice butterfly stretch here. So how close your feet or your heels are to your hips is up to you. If it's hard to sit upright here, you can always tuck a blanket underneath the hips. But as we're here, one of the things we can do is inhale and relax and round. And then exhale, lift and lengthen and press down through the legs. We can have our hands around our feet here. And we have the option where we could just hold. And then we have the option to lean forward, using the arms to press into the legs to kind of help them settle down a little bit. But remember to avoid that rounding. So the best option for a lot of people is just lifting up and then pressing down on the exhale. So we get that moment where we can kind of relax and then we can lift and lengthen. And we're going to take a few breaths here. Notice that opening of the hips in a different direction. Feel that length through the crown of the head. And then release. Come up. Bring those legs up. Stretch them out long. Take a moment. Move the thighs so that we find our sit bones. Make sure that the hips, knees, and ankles are in alignment. We curl back our toes so that we're engaging the muscles and we can sit up nice and tall. If it's difficult, you can always bend the knees or put a blanket underneath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Reaching for the feet, but again, remembering that we can touch the shins, the knees, anything in between, as long as we have a nice flat back and we're not rounding. Take a nice deep breath here. Really inhale all the way down to the belly. And then as you exhale, relax the shoulders. Let the lower back relax a little bit more. And then inhale and come up. Roll the shoulders back. And we're going to come back onto our hands and knees. Take a moment, moving in whatever way feels good. Maybe you give yourself that extra time. We're going to adjust. We're going to work on some core strength. And then we're going to revisit our child's pose. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, tops of the feet are nice and relaxed on the mat. And we have a few options. First one is just lifting the left leg up. Focusing on engaging the core here, tightening, while still allowing ourselves to breathe naturally. We can hold here. We could get a nice stretch through the back, across from the right shoulder blade to the left hip by reaching through that right arm. Or if you'd like, you can exhale and draw the elbow and knee together and then reach back out. Remember that same option is there with just the leg, drawing the knee towards the chest and then extending out. But wherever you are, listen to your body. So take a few more breaths here. Maybe you're reaching and extending really far, finding a nice stretch. 2 more breaths. Focusing on trying to remain level and exhale and crunch if you're choosing that. And then we'll release. Coming back to center. Remember, this is a little bit of a push before we relax. So engage the core, find that great alignment, spread the palms nice and wide, and then right leg comes up this time. So again, reaching through, trying to make sure it's level, and then that option is there to lift the left arm. If you're holding, turn that palm to the side, and then reach from the fingers to the toes, or elbow to knee, and then extend. Or bring that left palm back to the mat and just do knee to chest. Completely up to you. All great options that allow us to listen to our body and move in the way that works best for us. Remember to check in on your elbows. No matter if you have 1 or 2 palms on the mat, do not lock out the arms. 2 more breaths. All right, last one. And we'll release. Come back down. Now the option is there for traditional child's pose with the hips, knees, and ankles in alignment and just shooting your hips back towards your heels. Or if you'd like, you can open the knees up towards the edge of your mat and bring the big toes together and then bring your hips back towards your heels. Wherever you are, take a moment, bring your head down to a comfortable position. If you have the hips, knees, and ankles in alignment, you still have that option to bring the arms around the outside of the legs so that the palms face the sky near your feet. But the goal here is to notice the change in your body. So how does your back feel? How do your hips feel? Are your shoulders still nice and relaxed? And just take a few more breaths, feeling the belly expand into the thighs. So as you inhale through the nose, we feel the ribs press against the thighs and then the belly. And then as we exhale, the navel draws towards the spine. And we try to let go of any thoughts that come by, knowing we've carved this time out for ourselves today. We're just trying to release any tension we might feel. The hips hold a lot of emotion, so we just want to try to let it go. From here, we'll slowly start to come up. So if the arms are wrapped around the legs, we'll start by bringing them towards the front. And then everyone will bring the hands towards the shoulders and then slowly come up. Bring the knees under the hips one more time, the palms and wrists under the shoulders. And we'll just move our spine a little bit before we come and lay on our back. So relax the belly, lift the hips, inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, rounding the back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Taking 1 or 2 circles each way, we'll come back to neutral and just draw the hips around and then back to center. Nice big circle. Feel that weight shift on the knees. As the hips go towards the heels, we center, and then we'll go the other way. One more circle. And release. One more opening of our back here. Find neutral. We'll lift that right arm to the sky. Find a nice little gentle twist, and then release. Come back down. We'll do 3 on each side. So try to keep those hips level. Don't lock out that left arm and just reach the right arm to the sky. And then back down. One more. Lift up and release. Center off, shift to the right, and then lift the left arm. And down. Having to use our core to stabilize us throughout this entire session. One more. And release. Bring those palms forward just a little bit. Push out of the shoulders. Find a nice stretch here. Really let yourself find length through the spine. Relax the head down. And then come back. We'll slowly turn and come to lay on our mats. Taking a moment. Let your knees stay towards the sky. Slowly lower down. Maybe you take a moment and you readjust your position, lifting those hips so that they come closer to the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. Let your shoulders hang down. Let the hands be in whatever position is most comfortable. We'll do a half a bicycle today in a little bit of a different way. So finding that alignment with the hips, knees, and ankles. Press into the left foot. Remember that your chin is always lifted slightly towards the sky as we're laying here. And we'll extend the right leg out long. We'll lift it up overhead and then bend the knee so that the heel draws towards the hip and extends out. It's a little bit of a stretch for our hip as we are engaging our core. Now the option is always there. You can lift the hips and bring your hands underneath them. That helps with the kind of engagement of the core here. You could have the hands on the belly to focus in, or have the arms down the side of your body so that the hands are by the hip and we're pressing into the palms and shoulders. Now we're going to go the other direction. So extend that leg out long and then think about drawing the heel towards the hip, knee to chest, and then reach out to the sky. Slowly lower down and then reverse. Keep going this way. So nice big circle here. And that's why sometimes it's nice to have the hands underneath the hips, because that slowly lowering down towards the ground can really push our core area, and we want to be safe with our lower back. Our goal is to always focus on alignment, healing our body by building strength in the muscles, ligaments, and tendons while using proper alignment. All right, one more. Reach up, go down, and then take that left leg out to meet it. Maybe you reach the arms overhead for a nice big stretch. And then release. We'll bring the knees back up. Release the arms, finding whatever position was comfortable, hands under the hips or on the belly or down by your hips on the mat, pressing into the palms and shoulders. Find that great alignment, hips, knees, and ankles, and then press into that right foot. Extend the left leg out so it hovers nice and long, then lift it up. Draw the knee towards the chest, drop the heel towards the hip, and then extend out. So nice slow movements here. Just listening to your body. Maybe it's a smaller circle. Maybe you choose halfway to bring those hands underneath the hips. But we're building total core strength here. We're actually strengthening the hips as well before we take a moment to open them. All right, let's go the other direction. So extend it out long. And then think about drawing the heel to the hip, the knee to the chest, and then reach towards the sky. Nice straight leg as you lower down, and then repeat. Taking a few more breaths. Remember that as we're doing this core work, one of the hardest things is to keep that breath smooth, even, and continuous. But even though we're working hard for a moment, we want to use our breath to guide us. So if it becomes really short, we're going to ease off. Let's do one more nice big circle, reaching up and then out, and then relax down. Take that right leg out to meet it this time. Arms extend overhead. Big stretch from the fingers to the toes here. And then release. Bring those knees up. Relax the upper body, and we're going to move into the figure fours. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press into that left foot, extend the right leg out, up, overhead, but then we're going to bring the ankle across to the left knee, and we're going to think about pushing that right knee towards the front of the mat. Now you can stay here with that left foot firmly grounded, or you could lift the left leg up, drawing the knee towards your chest, and bring the hands or a strap or towel behind that left knee. That way we can relax the upper body and we pull on that towel or strap, and we can keep that left leg parallel. We could drop it down and relax it, or extend overhead for a nice stretch through the back of the leg. But play around with the variation. Remember, keeping that great alignment of bringing the left knee towards the chest and pressing your right knee towards the front of your mat is what's going to give you the most. Take a few more breaths. Relax through the upper body. Feel that beautiful opening of the hip area. Imagine your breath going all the way down through the belly to the hips. All right, if that left leg is extended, we'll bend it. We'll release the arms or the strap. Let the left foot hit the ground, and then everyone extends the right leg up and out nice and long, and then lifts the knee up so that foot hits the ground. Moving into the other side, press into the right foot. Extend the left leg out long, lift it up overhead, and then ankle to knee. Think about left knee towards the front of your mat here. And then the option is there, hands or strap behind the right knee. We pick it up. We think about bringing our right knee towards our chest. We choose the variation that works, be that keeping the leg parallel, relaxing down, or straightening the leg overhead. Remember, think about left knee going to the front of the mat. Sometimes when we pick up that right leg, it's going to bring the focus away from the hips. So the more we can focus on that left knee going to the front of the mat, the more we're going to feel that great stretch around the hip area. Take a few more breaths here. Try to relax the upper body. Press that left knee forward. And then we'll release. So if that right leg's up, bend the knee. Release the arms or strap. Let the foot hit the ground. Extend the left leg up. Reach it out long. Take the right leg to meet it. Reach those arms overhead. Find a nice stretch through the body. And then release. Lift the knees back up, and we'll go into those final twists. So the option is there to have the arms like a T or a cross pressing into the palms and shoulders. Or you can bend at the elbows, palms face the sky, kind of near your head, looking like a cactus or field goal post. Enter into your favorite twist, or join me in lifting the hips and moving them over to one side. That brings us extra space as we bring the knees to the chest and then let them go to the opposite side. Remember to let that opposite shoulder come up off the mat. So if the knees went to the left, that right shoulder is going to come up. The goal is to have a nice straight spine here, and we do that by stacking the knees and the hips. So you might put a blanket or a block under or between the knees here. That might help with the alignment. You can turn and look the opposite direction of the knees if you want that full body twist, or just have the head in a neutral position. We'll take 2 more breaths on this side. And then we'll release. So we relax everything. We come back to center, lift the hips, realign, draw the knees to the chest. And then let the feet hit the ground. Arms into whatever position felt good. And then favorite twist or lift the hips, other side, knees to chest and across. Again, letting that shoulder peel up. Head's neutral or turning and looking, whatever feels good. Two or three more breaths here. Check on those knees and hips. Nice straight spine even with the twist. And then release. Lift the hips. Draw the knees to the chest. And then we'll stretch out those legs nice and long, entering into our final resting pose. Remembering this is just as important as everything else we did in class today. We need to give our bodies a moment to reabsorb that energy. Let your feet be at least hips distance apart, if not shoulder width or more. Let them dangle to the side. You could have your hands on your belly, focusing on your breath, or palms towards the sky. Having lots of space between the arms and the side of your body. Remember that that chin is still slightly lifted to the sky. And we're just allowing our breath to return to its natural rhythm, whatever that is for you. We're just allowing our bodies to relax, allowing our spine to remain in a neutral position. Extremely important after doing some twists. It's only been a moment of our practice, but it's really important to include in every session. We'll take a couple of more breaths. Try to relax that space between your eyes and soften through the jaw, neck, and shoulders. And we'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, roll the wrists and the ankles. And then we'll bring the feet together and reach the arms overhead. Nice big stretch through the body. And then release. We'll lift one knee and then the other. Let the feet hit the ground so you can lift the hips and move them to one side. And then roll over to the other. You can pause for a few breaths here. And then eventually everyone will use that top arm to come up into a seated position. Whatever that means for you, take a moment. Maybe you sit up nice and tall in stillness, or maybe you want to move those shoulders a little bit, or the spine by leaning forward on an inhale and rounding on an exhale, and then the other way. Just taking a couple of breaths. Then come back to center. Let those shoulders hang down. Let a smile wash over to carry you throughout the day. And then we'll do a big inhale, lifting those arms up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Always ending class with namaste. Acknowledging the light and spirit within me is the same within you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this session.